What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Wednesday night. Typically, this type of film study is only for the Patreon folks. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. As usual, when I go to those guys and say, hey, can we go public with something? Because we got some really great content. They might bring some more, add some family members to our little community. They're always advantageous to allow it to happen. I don't think advantageous is the right word there. But anyways, they're always, more than supportive for us to take these things public and give them to you guys that maybe aren't subscribed already to the Patreon account over there, where we do all of our inside intels over there, as well as, private video breakdowns, typically like this one would be. Last week or Sunday, we actually did Denylon Morset's film breakdown, spent about 22 minutes on Georgia's most recent commit at the wide receiver room. So if you like what you see tonight, I promise you, you will love what you get on Patreon on a day in, day out basis over there. Again, that's patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Super excited about tonight's show. I think this 2022 defensive tackle class, right? The interior defensive linemen. I'm talking 3 techs to nose tackles. Defensive ends are out of this conversation. Outside linebackers are out of this conversation for tonight's purposes. It's extremely deep. There are some really, really good football players, borderline great football players that we're going to break down tonight. And I'm going to rank them for you. I'm going to put them 5 through 1. We're going to work our way down from 5 down to 1 in terms of what I think their ultimate ceilings are. Now, this is not only a high school projection, what they look like now, but I'm projecting basically what I think success is going to look like for them on the college level. So as we rank them, just know that this is basically me calling my shot. This is how I feel like these guys are going to be drafted in this order 4 or 5 years down the road, okay? However long it takes, 3 or 4 years down the road, whenever these guys ultimately declare for the NFL draft, these rankings are based off how I think they're going to land in those, okay? So, we'll go through them one by one. I'll try not to spend too much time on each individual player. I will tell you that 2 of these 5, obviously already Georgia commits in Bear Alexander and Tyree West. You'll see where they fall as we go, but I'm extremely high on a couple of these guys. I'm high on all of them, but I'm going to give you player comps as we go as well. Mostly all NFL players. I got 1 current college football player in there as a comp, and I'm super excited about that one because I think he is the next version of what the comp I'm going to give you, spoiler alert, is Jordan Davis. So there is a Jordan Davis lying in the weeds here in these top 5 classes. I'll tell you what I think positionally they're going to excel at in the college level. Some of these guys I think are going to be shade tech, nose technique guys. Some of these guys are going to be 3 tech, really with the potential to get after the quarterback as well in a pass rushing skill set. So everybody get what we're doing. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hit that thumbs up while we're here because this is a live show. So the more you guys thumb that thing up, the more we're going to pop up on other people's feeds. We appreciate your support in that. Obviously, you guys know super chats get thrown up on the board. We will address those as they come in, if they come in. If not, all good, all fine and dandy. Everybody good? Everybody ready? Let's grind some tape. We're starting with number 5 on my list, a current Georgia commit, Tyree West, okay? I'm going to go on and tell you right now, you're going to see an advanced pass rushing skill set from this young man. 2 of these guys that we're going to watch tonight, they work with a guy by the name of Chuck Smith. And if you don't know who he is, you probably should, okay? He's one of the best, if not the best, pass rush specialist in the country in terms of developing talent. So you're going to see Tyree. This is his sophomore tape, I believe. Most of his stuff's pretty dated in terms of tape, but you can still see what's going on. A real fluid mover, okay? I don't really buy into how big he's listed, but because I've seen him in person a whole bunch. But again, here you see it right here. When I talk about an advanced pass rushing skill set, this kid can absolutely deliver in terms of getting after the quarterback, turning edges, getting offensive linemen out of position. You're going to see this inside hand from Tyree, overhand swipe, this lead hand from this right tackle. And this is, I believe, Warner Robins. So these are good football teams. You see that overhand? That's immediately to disengage. And now, as you can see, the shoulders are what? They're pointed to the sideline. That is a losable position. Very few tackles will win out of that position right there. It is a failed opportunity for that offensive lineman. And immediately you're going to see, boom, he gets back up underneath, and now he's working counter back inside, okay? Throws him back inside, gets inside, forces the pressure, and then it's a pursuit drill at this point, and he's a really, really fluid mover in open space. One of my notes here, he uncoils his hips extremely well, okay? This is absolutely 100% a striker. when he meets the ball carrier explodes. There is a massive amount of explosion on tape, left and right. Another example right here. He's down at the bottom, okay? He's getting pushed off the point, but that's fine. The purpose here is to show you not only how fast he gets over here, but once he gets there, how quickly he unzips his feet. I get a lot of questions about what that means. It means going from a running stance, right? You run with your feet in line. You run with your feet in a vertical line. When you're ready to break down, you have to unzip your feet, go from here to get yourself to a stable position to uncoil your hips and strike. And that's exactly what you're going to see right here from Tyree. There he goes, unzips again, and boom. You see the striking ability, right? This is what we call powerful, explosive hips, okay? He goes from a lean position, clears the hips, explodes through the ball carrier. Most of the time, the ball ends up on the ground, honestly. This guy disengages really well the ball from the ball carrier. Boom, there you see it again. Just a good pursuit guy in certain situations. Another example right here. Okay, I like that he converts run to pass really quickly. Okay, a lot of that's the development in them hand fighting skills that Chuck Smith has created. But here he goes right here. Again, uncoiling the hips, a full layout, ready to strike at all times. If you're a ball carrier and you think just because you caught a bubble screen that the 265, 270 pound defensive tackle is not going to run your butt down, you got another thing coming, okay? He is headhunting at all times. Well, selectively. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But again, the technique is always great from this kid. I fully believe that. They're trying to run outside zone here, right? You're going to get jet motion, and they're trying to capture the edge. Well, that's really hard to do if in this case, the 5 tech is really getting upfield with hard inside hand pressure, okay? Watch this right hand, the one that is down in the ground. Watch him. As soon as he comes off the ball, he strikes, long arms, completely takes the angles out of the tackle, okay? Tackle's in a no-go position right here, as usual, and boom. Now we've set the edge, but we didn't even set the edge at the line of scrimmage. We set the edge 4 yards deep in the backfield, right? That is an explosive, quick-twitched football player off the line of scrimmage. Let's watch it one more time. Okay, taking angles out immediately. Taking angles out immediately. But again, to me, that's all technique. Getting that long arm in the right position, having low pad level, and keeping our outside arm free at all times. That's check in terms of what you got to do at the defensive end position. Again, I think he's going to move to D-tackle in college, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. But his redirection skills, right? We're going to talk about this a lot with a lot of these dudes. They really shuffle and move horizontally really well. That's why they're supreme athletes. That's why they're on Georgia's board and as high as they are. So you're going to see him get into the backfield, get 2 or 3 yards deep, and then redirect, okay? Redirect, get flat down the line of scrimmage, and go make a play on the ball carrier. I think it's our first step clip right here. I love his first step, man. You're not going to find me saying anything bad about those first 2 or 3 steps and his ability to redirect, get flat back down the line of scrimmage, pursue the ball carrier. That's Jakari Brown, the most recent Miami commit right there playing quarterback for Lowndes. Another thing about this kid, and I know I'm running 100 miles an hour because we got a lot of film to break down tonight, but this dude has played balling competition for 4 years, since he started as a true freshman at Tift County. So he is going to be well seasoned when he comes into college. Of the 5 guys, I think he's going to be most ready and at his ceiling the quickest when he gets to college. Okay? Great first step. And the other thing I like about him, he's a really quick processor. What do I mean by that? When he gets into the backfield, if something's happening in front of him, he's oftentimes the first one not only to identify it, but to change it. Now, this is a goofy, I'll be honest with you, nobody wrong arms like this anymore. What do I mean by wrong arm? Okay, I've taught you here on this channel before, when guards' butts are squatted, they're probably pulling. You see how this guy looks like he's taking a dump in the woods? Okay, that's bad positioning. You got to pause? We got an issue? We'll be right back. Ain't nothing better than some technical difficulties every once in a while. What? Still full. Jesus Christ. Let's try this one more time, okay? Technical difficulties, they rarely happen on this network, but every once in a while they will. So we ran around like a chicken with our head cut off. I hope we're good now. If not, I'm sure, 100% positive, the YouTube comment section will let us know. So appreciate you guys for letting us know those issues. We're moving forward. Here we go. The wrong arm technique, okay? We call this turning and spilling. As I make a mistake on my own, Jesus. We are 1,000% rattled at this point, and we're going to get an ad. Let's close out on Tyree. We'll move to the next one. All right, here's the deal on Tyree, okay? Whew. Sorry, Tyree. Reasons he came in on my, number 5 on my list. Here's the deal. I am concerned about the overall ceiling. When I'm talking about guys like Walter Nolan, Travis Shaw, even Christian Miller, some guys, Beryl Alexander, the ones that we're going to get to tonight, and I'm trying to project them to a future first-round pick or maybe a future first-round pick, you got to see what the physical ceiling is going to look like. I don't care what this guy's listed at on any other site. I've seen him in person about a dozen times at this point over the last calendar year, both in-game, in a workout scenario, and face-to-face, chest-to-chest. So he may be listed at whatever he's listed, okay, wherever he's listed. I'm telling you right now, he's about 6'1.5", maybe 6'2", carrying around about 265 pounds, okay? None of that evaluation says, yeah, let's project him to an immediate first-round draft pick. That's hard for me because there are physical thresholds that you have to meet to reach that caliber of football player in terms of your draft status. However, he's going to be really, really good really, really early on because of how developed his skill set already is. And I think immediately when you get him into college, you make him a 3-tech and a situational pass rusher. I think this kid will come into college. He will immediately overwhelm guards, even in the SEC for the University of Georgia. So play him in that Devontae Wyatt role, play him around in third and longs, allow him to do what he does best, which is hand fight and get after the quarterback. I think day one, that is a tangible skill set for Tyree West. And I hope I showed you enough of that before all of our stuff crapped out. But again, I do question the length, the overall length of the prospect, and just how far and how much better he's going to get on the college level, how much bigger, how much more explosive if he can get more explosive. I love that he's a great, really quick processor. I love that he's got pass rush ability, even from a 3-technique position. To me, the player comparison for a guy like this is Gino Atkins, okay? And a lot of people are going to hear that, but if you don't remember, Gino, I believe, was a 3rd-round draft pick, okay? Middling of the pack draft pick, I believe. And for the reasons that this young man, I think, is going to be around that range, maybe early second or late second-round draft pick, because Gino's only 6'1". A lot of people don't realize that. Gino Atkins is about 6'1", 295 pounds, and dominates. He athletically overwhelms guards on a consistent basis, even in the NFL. I think Tyree West is that same caliber of football player. I don't feel comfortable coming into college saying, yeah, this dude can play 5-technique. This dude can handle 6'6" tackles with extremely long arms. He's gonna get locked out a lot in college against guys like that. So kick him inside, let him play early in his college career as a situational pass rusher, and let's see how it develops moving forward. Love the kid, love the kid's tape. He's not quite what I think all these other guys are. And next up, we got our fourth guy on the list, which is our next Georgia commit. And I know what people are going to say. Well, you really got the Georgia commits this low? No, all these guys are transcendent football players. All these guys are going to be great in college. This is just how I see them projecting to the NFL, okay? And so number 4, we'll get right into Bear Alexander, okay? About 6'4", 330-ish pounds. So he's got the frame, okay? Absolutely 100% has the frame. What we're watching right now is actually his freshman tape, okay? Think about this. Freshman tape out there in Texas, and you'll see, and what I want you guys to notice is, look at the body he's got right now, okay? Check out how the body composition is. Take a look. He's carrying a lot of weight as a true freshman at 6'4", 330 pounds from basically nipples down to his quads, okay? The midsection, as we would refer to it, okay? I want you to pay attention and remember that physical picture of what the body looks like, because I'm going to show you a kid that's really developed over the last 3 years of high school football. But you'll see, even as a freshman in high school out there in Texas, he's physically overwhelming his opponents on a consistent basis. Here he is at nose tackle. Okay, I think you're going to see him reverse spin back in. Okay, I loved on tape watching this young man, you know, have lateral quickness, but more importantly, he's got situational awareness. He knows exactly what's going on at all times. And even when he's off coverage, look at him delivering a strike, okay? Well, just like we talked about with Tyree West, when I see you're explosive at the point, even as a 14-year-old freshman right here, or however old he was, when I see this, when I see power in the pads, it tells me you've got explosive hips, and it tells me you know how to uncoil those explosive hips, okay? Where are we at here? We're at 39. I don't think we got anything here. Stop pausing on me, man. Again, he's a switch. Even in his pass rush, right? We call this rush awareness. He knows he's not getting to the quarterback. So what's he do? He makes a play on the quarterback by getting his big bear paw up, pun intended. Okay, right here. Boom, getting his hands up. I'm going to 50, 38 actually. Just a regular play right there. Where are we at here? Redirectional ability, right? All these guys, I told you, even as a freshman, watch this kid. Open his hips up, get flat back again, readjust, go find the ball carrier. Okay? That's elite. Smart and alert even as a young football player. That's always good to see. Now, we watched this freshman tape. Let's go watch some sophomore tape real quick. Here we go. Let's open this joker up. Now, this is obviously Skyline High School. This is a different high school than we saw him on his first tape. He will play for 4 different high schools, and before you freak out, it's because a family member of his actually is going to coach at most of these programs. Okay, so as, you know, as dad or uncle or whoever it is, I can't quite remember, gets a new job, he goes with. And guess what he does? He takes over the locker room every single time. Every single time, he is the alpha, okay, in a new setting. And I don't know if you know anything about Texas high school football, but it's not that easy, okay? It's not that easy to just walk in and say, okay, yeah, I'm the dude here. But as you see in his sophomore tape, that body's starting to change just a little bit, okay? That body's starting to change just a little bit, and the lateral quickness is always there. The thing I took away from this clip, watch them first 2 steps. Pop. Okay, watch how quickly he gets them first 2 in the ground. If you've ever played offense, defensive line in your life, the number one thing they would tell you is the guy who gets the first 2 in the ground first oftentimes wins the rep, especially when we're talking about setting the line of scrimmage or resetting the line of scrimmage in Bears' case on a consistent basis. Lateral quickness on this one. He's out there actually playing 4-eye, okay? Lateral quickness, watch him redirect. Boom, get back inside as the ball carrier is trying to make a move. At 330 pounds, guys, this stuff is not common. Okay, it's why he is as highly rated as he is. Even though he came in 4 on my list, that's fine. Sorry about it. Let me get to the one I want right here. We're going to 125 next because I got a check or a box that defensive players have to check for me before I'm 100% sold on who they are or what they can be, and it's called the psycho box. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but to play defense, you got to be a little bit of a psycho, okay? You got to be a little crazy in the head. You got to be willing to put your body on the line, not give a damn if you get hurt, and just play the game with a level of speed and lack of fear that offensive players, quite frankly, just don't have to do, okay? As a defender, you've got to have a screw loose. It's what we talk about all the time. And if this ain't a box to be checked on, does he have a screw loose, I don't know what is, okay? The helmet pops off. The helmet pops off. Now, he gets a flag for this. I don't care. Helmet comes off, and do you think he slowed down a second? Matter of fact, he even led with his daggum head, basically, and still exploded the pile. Okay, so some people will say this is silly, just stop the play. No. I see a psycho. I see a psycho, which I want. I want an absolute psycho. I want someone that lines up across from offensive linemen, and offensive linemen go, oh, God, who knows what this guy's going to do to me. I want football players on my defensive side of the football that are disciplined, but at times a bit unhinged. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to be great, in all honesty. You can't be soft. I could have never played defense at an elite level because I didn't have that just freakish edge. I honestly didn't. So if you don't have that, then defense ain't for you. You got to be an absolute, just like I said, a psycho. You got to be a psychopath to be out here dominating on the defensive side of football. Now, here we go. I promised you there was going to be some major physical development on this kid. And look at him now, okay? Look how thick this lower half is now, okay? Look how thick, as he starts to move, this upper body is, okay? And look how he maintains, if not has increased, the ultimate athletic ceiling, okay? And the other thing that I noticed as I went from freshman to sophomore to junior tape, the hand fighting got much better. The hand placement got much better. His ability to rush the passer got much better as a result of those hand fighting skills. If you'll see right here, he wins this rep because A, he's got great pad level, but B, that inside hand, that right hand gets up underneath the elbow of this guard. Okay, it might seem very subtle, but subtleties are what win in a pass rushing world where quarterback, you got 3.5 seconds to make a play. And oftentimes in the high school level, you got about 2.5 seconds because everybody's running quick game, especially when you're going against a defensive pass rush like they had on this defensive line. I mean, look at these dudes. There's a whole bunch of dudes on this defensive line that he's playing with, but he's obviously the best. Check the hand placement. Boom. Right up underneath the elbow, that resets the guard and takes the angles out of him. He is 100% a vertical athlete after 2 steps, is that guard. That's all from hand placement. That is a plus on the show sheet over there. Same thing here. I think he overhead swim. Something as a sophomore and a freshman you didn't really see. He was just being a bigger, stronger athlete than the guy in front of him. Now he's adding on to this skill set, right? The body has gotten much better. The hand fighting skills have gotten much better. The effort and the overall athleticism has remained the same. It has stayed constant throughout his high school career, okay? I like to see bodies develop like this in their high school years. It tells me he's got an instant impact when he comes into college. I think this kid has played a lot of high school football and a lot of good high school football, which means when he does transition to whatever school he ends up going to, even if it is Georgia, he's going to have an immediate impact just like Tyree West does, right? Just like I told you early on in his career, put Tyree West out there on 3rd and 8, let him dominate a guard, let him get to the quarterback, let him bend the edge from a shortened stance and a shortened alignment. Same thing with Bear. Bear is going to be accustomed, because he's had thousands and thousands of reps at this point in his high school career. He's going to be accustomed and ready to play from an early on standpoint. Now, my conclusion on this guy, I think he is a shade or a 3-tech, right? If you want to play him as a 3-tech on pass rushing downs, let him figure out how to get home at that 3-tech position spot, that's fine. I think he is more of a shade and a nose tackle as he continues to develop physically, if there is development still left to be had. Okay, like I told you, he has progressed physically, which is a good sign of a player that's obviously put a lot of work into his body over the last 3 years of high school, heading into his final year. I do question, just like I did with Tyree, how much better can this athlete get? Has he already made his strides? Has he already seen his physical peak? Has he already reached it? Because this is a guy, like I showed you, has dominated Texas high school football since he was a freshman in high school. Okay, he has been the cock of the walk everywhere he's gone. He's earned it, but he's been the cock of the walk everywhere he's gone. I do love the situational awareness. I love the positional awareness and the positional versatility. How much better will he get in college? That's going to determine whether or not he's a, top of the 2nd round pick, middle of the first round pick or a top 10 NFL draft pick. We'll see. It's yet to be developed. Now, this next guy that's on my list is, I think, might have the highest ceiling of them all. Those aren't my opinions. Those are a very trusted source that we've already mentioned tonight that I will talk about in just a second. All right, my number 3 guy on the list. It is, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot a comp for Bear Alexander. Depending on which way it goes, if the body slims down, he gets more explosive and even bendier, I see a Fletcher Cox type 3 technique. If he gets just bigger, okay, and remains as powerful as he already is, I see a football player like Akeem Nicks, okay, the nose tackle for Chicago, the guy that's allowed Roquan Smith, though Roquan Smith's great, has allowed Roquan Smith to have 100 tackle years because there is so much attention drawn to a player like Akeem Nicks when he's in front of you. So that's kind of what I see Bear turning into. Now, this kid, Christian Miller, the ceiling's through the roof, and I'll tell you exactly why, okay? This kid's 6'6", or gonna be 6'6", if not already there. He's got some growing still left to do, I believe. He's about 305 pounds right now, okay? Very, very raw, but I'm gonna show you exactly why I believe this kid's gonna be, if not as good as anybody on this list, maybe even better. You're gonna notice, I mean, he's got first step twitch, okay? He can get off the ball. He's got those first 2 steps like we've been talking with the other guys, but just look at the length, right? When we showed you Tyree, especially, when we showed you even Bear, guys, this is what gets you paid right here, wingspan as a defensive lineman. Why? Why is it the most important measurable in my opinion? Because if my hands are on you before your hands can ever get to me, I have won. Most of the time, I have won. Hand placement, first 2 steps, you got those, you're gonna win. Now, the concern here for me is pad level, and this is something Christian and I talked about over and over again. Look, when you're this tall, when you're this stretched out, and when you're playing against a guard that's probably 6'1", 6 foot, he's already by natural size and alignment underneath your shoulder pads. So if we don't come off flat backed, if the first thing we do is bring our chest to the ceiling, A, probably got tight ankles, working on that. B, probably got tight hips, working on that. C, just raising up a little bit too much, needs a little bit more shoot work, okay? And I know Christian's probably watching right now, so what's up, Christian? Now, I like this, okay? I like this because I notice on film, guess who's the first to sniff the screen? Christian is the first to sniff the screen. What do I mean by sniffing the screen? Look, offensive linemen just ain't gonna let you go unblocked as an interior defensive line for no damn reason. If they're doing it, it's for a purpose, and the purpose is to throw a screen pass. Now, Christian, if you are watching, let's cut out this slow-mo stuff. I wanna see you be explosive when you redirect right here. When you run back through the alley and pursue the ball carrier, I want to see it at full speed. I get it. I know who you are. I see you doing it. I picked out you as the person who sniffed the screen first before you even hit the slow-mo. So I don't need to see none of that. Let's run at full speed. I want to see you move. Which you do move really well. He does move really well for a 6'6" guy. Now, here's what I will tell you about Christian. Now, Cedar Grove did this. They played him and Josh White every once in a while as these defensive ends. Neither one of these jokers is playing defensive end in college, okay? Neither one of them. Josh Harris ain't playing defensive end. Sorry to hurt your feelings. You kicking into 3 tech. Christian Miller ain't playing defensive end when he gets to college. You kicking into 3 tech. So why is this on the film? Why are we watching this, okay? As you can see, a little bit slow off the ball. And I think I know why. If you watch as the clip cuts, Christian's on his knee. As the ball, he's getting up out of his stance as the ball is being snapped. Let's cut that crap out. Can't have that. We got to be ready as soon as that center touches the ball. Okay, as soon as he puts his hand on the ball, you got to be up and ready. So he's a little bit late off the ball, but I see this quite often from Christian, and it's not really his fault. He's been the tallest, longest kid since he's probably played football, which ain't been that long. So he does a lot of peeking, right? He's 6'6", so he gets caught up in looking instead of just playing through the man. Okay, whatever that guy in front of you is doing, odds are he's going to tell you what the offense is doing. Okay, he's either going to run you to the play on counter, okay? He's either going to show you what the play design is with a high hat, right? He's going to pass set, or he's going to low hat and show you a run play. If he steps inside, it's inside zone. If he attacks you, it's zone your way. If he takes a bucket step, it's outside zone. As he gets older, okay, he will begin to learn to read these keys on a consistent basis and stop peeking so much. Because peeking don't do me no good as a defensive lineman, okay? the best defensive lineman on this Cedar Grove defensive line that is filled with guys like Christian and guys like Josh Harris and my boy Sticks that will all play Division I football. It's this big nose tackle, okay, this big three technique. He's a stud because he's had to be a stud. He plays fast, he plays physical, he plays low. And I'm forgetting his name, and I feel terrible for forgetting his name right now, but that's my guy, as I forget his name. He is another high-effort football player. I think this is the clip we're on now. Another high-effort football player. He will always pursue relentlessly. I will say, though, hey, look, yeah, we made a play, and I get this is a Virginia Tech quarterback commit. I get that this guy is a threat to run, but we have got to, and I mean got to, disengage a whole lot quicker than what's going on right here. A whole lot quicker. We have got to get our hands off of him, make a move, decide. Instead of now, we should have decided about a second and a half ago, and we would have really cleaned up on that sack. Here's what I'm talking about with the effort plays. He knows it's a fourth down conversion. He knows he's got to get out there. Now, this kid, I believe this is Carver Columbus right here. This number 17 running around like a chicken with his head cut off, this dude is not a, he's fleet of foot. He is not a non-athlete, if you will. Christian hawked this dude, okay? Again, at 6'6", 305 pounds, and you see how fluidly he moves over the top, scraping over the top, just like a linebacker, if you will. Redirects really, really well as well, okay? That's that slow-mo crap again. Don't need to see it, Christian. Boom, sticks his foot in the ground as he's pursuing one way, leg in the ground, opens the hip back up, and makes the play with those long arms. Again, length matters. It 100% matters. It will allow you to make plays that others do not. Also think he is an above-average slanter as a big guy. So here's the play design here, if I can get this thing paused. Okay, they're going to spike Christian, cross-face him over the center, and wrap big fella into C-gap. Now, it's bad news bears for Carver because I believe they're trying to run some type of outside zone. This center is completely overwhelmed, 100% overwhelmed. You can't allow that guy to cross your face. Christian does immediately. Keeps his shoulders square until the ball carrier passes him, then turns his shoulders, dives, and makes the play. Okay, the game of football, guys, the game of football is a game of inches, especially as a pass rusher, okay? When you are this big, when you are this long, okay, and you got these arms, sometimes you don't even have to get home to impact the football play as a rusher, right? How many times have you seen Calais Campbell just reach out, and I'm not saying he is, how many times have you seen Calais Campbell just reach over the tackle or guard that's blocking him, put a hand on the quarterback, and they blow the whistle dead because Calais has got him in one hand, okay? Same exact thing here with what Christian can provide. Now, I just showed you a whole bunch of what you may seem as negatives, and you're like, how does Brooks have this guy third? How does he have him over Bear Alexander? How does he have him over the 5-star, Tyree West? Well, I'll tell you, okay? I think I know a lot about football. Defensive line is not necessarily foreign to me because I had to block guys like this, had to study them, had to figure them out. But it is foreign to me in the sense that it's not my bread and butter. It's not what I grew up knowing. What I did grow up knowing is how to trust guys that know a lot more than me, which is Chuck Smith. Again, a guy I've already mentioned in this show. Chuck Smith trains 3 of the top players in 2022 on a consistent basis. He trains Tyree West, he trains Christian Miller, and he trains Michael Williams. When I set Chuck down and said, Chuck, of the 3, which one are you banking on? Which one are you saying this is going to be the guy 4 years from now? And he said, without a doubt, Christian Miller. Why? Because he gets it. Okay, there are a lot of kids out here nowadays that they work, they think they're working, but they don't see the long-term picture. They're more caught up in how many sacks did I get this year, how many offers I got, when I'm taking visits, yada, yada, yada. Christian works. He cares about working. That's all he cares about, and he cares about being great. I'll tell you a story. First time I ever met Christian, I was at a workout with him, and I was talking to his trainer, as I always do. Guy had been training him for, about 8 months. And as Christian went to the bathroom or whenever he walked off, I asked the trainer, I said, what do you think? And he told me, he said, Christian is the first kid that I've ever coached that when I'm coaching him, there ain't no talking. He is dead silent, his eyes are big, and he's a sponge. He's trying to absorb every single thing you can give him. And then as he performs whatever act he's being coached on, once he gets done, he's aggressive about asking for feedback. Those are coachable, projectable kids, right? It's that next level of scouting, getting to know kids and getting to understand how they tick and how they work. That's the type of scouting that helps you out projecting kids to a long level. So that's what I see in him, and the fact that he is 17 years old right now. He will not turn 18 until August, I believe, heading into his senior year. In a day and age in recruiting where everyone's getting held back, everyone's getting pulled back. There's 19-year-old seniors everywhere all over this country that are getting highly recruited. This kid's gonna be 17 years old when he makes his college commitment. Think about that. 6'6", 305 pounds, 17 years old will make his college commitment at some point this fall. I think. I don't know when it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be sometime late summer this fall. My comparison for a kid that's got a ceiling this high, insanely high, if and when he figures out situational awareness, understanding that, hey, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, 3rd and 2, I should probably get my pad level and my hands ready to strike. If you watch this kid's goal line tape that we didn't get to tonight, you will understand what I'm saying. When he knows or has a good idea or a good feeling about what's going on in front of him or thinking about what's going on in front of him, and he can just play and be violent, he's freakish, beyond freakish. The comparison to me is Rayquan Davis, okay? There aren't too many 6'6", long-armed guys that can play 3-tech because oftentimes they just have to, they play too high because they are too high at all times. They're 6'6". So if we can loosen up the ankles, if we can loosen up the hips, if we can drop the pad level about 6 to 8 inches, baller. Flat out future first-round draft pick. And a guy that originally getting into this process, I told to his face, I love you, Christian. I think you're a tackle. You might be a 3rd or 4th round draft pick as a defensive tackle. I think you can be a day 1 draft pick as an offensive tackle. And he told me straight up, he said, Coach, I believe you. I agree with you, but the only problem is I love playing defensive tackle. And I know that to become a first-round draft pick, to live in the league for a decade and a half, you have to absolutely love what you're doing and work at it like you love it. And I don't love tackle like that. I love defensive tackle like that. And ever since we've had that conversation, he's worked like a guy that wants to be a future first-round draft pick. Christian Miller, number 3 on my board. All right, number 2. There's only 2 guys left, right? Walter Nolan and Travis Shaw. Which one of them is it going to be? Now, Georgia, if you look at every other recruiting service and every other board, they'll tell you that Georgia's not in on either of these guys. That, Travis Shaw is probably going to Clemson, and who knows where Walter Nolan's going. He's a Tennessee kid. Maybe he goes to Tennessee. Doubt it. Maybe. But Georgia is pushing hard for both these guys. They love both these guys. And they're going to be in on the running for these guys late in this process, okay? They will have a shot at them before all is said and done. I gave you my comp on Christian Miller. Let's get Travis Shaw. Travis Shaw, number 2 on the board. Ding, 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 which means Walter Nolan gets the number 1 spot on my board. But before we get to Nolan, let's talk about Travis Shaw. This is a massive, massive young man. We're going to be watching his sophomore tape right here. And I sent it into the Discord. When we talk about as a scout, it may seem like I'm, objectifying young men, which is real weird considering they're 17, 18 years old. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I care about hips and ass, okay? Pardon my language. How big your hips are, how big your butt is, how well you roll your hips, that's all very, very important for defensive linemen in particular. It's really important for linebackers, and obviously how well you move your hips and how fluid you are at the hip level affects how good of a defensive back you are, right? So hips and butt are 2 very, very important aspects of the recruiting process in terms of projecting what players are going to look like. This dude's first team, all hips and ass, okay? He is thick, T-H-I-C-C thick from the lower half, and this is what I'm talking about. Look at him when he turns this corner. That is a big old boy. Okay, that is a big boy at 310 pounds. Look how wide them hips are. We call them birthing hips, okay? He's explosive at all times, and he's a fluid mover. Some of these other guys we've seen in open field at 310 pounds won't move like this. This kid does. That's freakish, okay? That is absolutely freakish. All effort team, too. This guy plays balls to the wall at all times. And this, to me, is an example of heavy hands, okay? When he just gets one bear paw, he's over there at 3 technique pushing the absolute crap in of that right guard. When he gets to contact, when he lands, okay, he's going to fight over the top after resetting the line of scrimmage. So he's really right here. He's going to fight over the top, and all he's going to do is reach around and try to tackle the ball carrier, and just his heavy bear paw is going to punch this ball out and cause a strip sack or a strip tackle. Actually, that's a strip sack, okay? Just merely touching the ball with his hands, and it absolutely jacks stuff up. Now, here's the part where, as a scout, you got to be able to project kids, right? He's raw. He's 100% raw. His shoulders get turned for him right here. He gets skinny because he gets chipped, okay? This is the first and only time you'll probably see him get this skinny as a defensive lineman at 6'5", 310 pounds on this tape, okay? And then he gets back, flips his hips again, turns the corner, right, runs the hoop, and goes and gets the ball carried. Another strip sack. Another strip sack. Out here playing defensive end at 6'5", 310 pounds. High school football, baby. You got to love it. Okay, but here's the thing I see. I see a raw prospect, but I see a guy who's clearly coachable and is trying to be coachable. And here's how you pick these things up on tape, right? I just told you he's really raw, right? Well, he's being coached fairly well, and he's taking heed to that coaching. When he realizes he's got to redirect, watch that inside hand. Boom. You see him just absolutely rip it up and put it through the sky, over-exaggerating the movement. Right? It doesn't have to be that high. You don't really have to reach for the sky. But what he's doing is he's been told all week and all season, hey, we got to get better with our rips, man. We got to get rid of our rips. So when he throws them, he over-exaggerates them. It's a guy that's efforting to be a, elite pass rusher. I mean, good freaking luck out there. I feel bad for that left tackle. That ain't even fair. He just runs straight through him, straight to the point. I do see a limited hand-fighting skill set at this point in his career, but that's fine because he does stuff like this. Another sign of coachability and projectable traits. Effort. I can't coach you to play hard. It is impossible. I will never be able to make you play hard. I can't practice you hard enough to make you play hard in games. I can't lift you hard enough to make you work hard in the weight room. I can't do it. Effort is a non-coachable trait. You either got it or you don't. This kid's got it. He's coachable. He's got an elite frame, okay? And he's got elite effort skills. Those are all tangible traits when we're talking about college football. Let's watch this uproot clip. Okay, this guard right here ain't no slouch, or this center. He's a pretty big dude, okay? Watch how he takes the angles. Call this uprooting, right? When you go to pull a tree out of the ground, you got to rip its roots up, right? You got to take the angles out of its feet, basically, which are its roots. Watch what happens here. He gets up underneath this dude with his hands and immediately has every single pre-existing angle up out of this dude. He's straight-legged. He's straight-backed. He doesn't have a flat back, has no arc in his hips, nothing. He's been completely uprooted. This happens on a consistent basis on Travis's film. What you don't see is what we talked about to begin with, right? You don't see elite hand-fighting skills yet. You don't see any of that stuff yet. Okay, he's just winning with brute strength and power. But he's got a ton of it, and a ton of athleticism, and a ton of upside. I actually was talking to an SEC coach the other day about this kid, and he thinks he's the number one player in the country. I'm higher on the next guy we're going to watch, but there are programs in this world that got this guy number one on the board. Okay, that's why it's going to come down to the Clemsons, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States. It's going to come down to the blue bloods in this country in terms of who gets Travis Shaw's services. I love him a lot. Let's give you some conclusions on this guy. I told you there is a Jordan Davis comparison on tonight's film study. He's the one. I think this kid projects to a nose tackle. I don't want him playing three tech. I want him dominating the interior, the absolute interior of a defensive line and an offensive line. If this guy puts it all together in terms of his ability to disengage, he's going to require double and sometimes triple teams, just like Jordan Davis does at Georgia now. Okay, 6'5", 310 now. He might be 6'5". I don't even trust the 310 measurement. If you looked at that kid's hips and butt and his lower half, he might be 280 pounds from his hips down. Okay, he's a very thick football player and a very athletic football player. And it's clear to me, dude is as elite as he is with some raw tendencies in him, which means the ceiling, as we talked about with Miller, is through the roof. This guy will play on Sundays, just a matter of how high. Okay, projects to a nose, Brute strength at this point, like I told you, extremely powerful in that lower half, and there's obvious signs of effort and accountability on tape. Those things to me, enough said. I think this kid is who did I project him to? I already gave it to you. He's Jordan Davis. That's my player comp. All right, number one on the big board, and some people have him as high as number one player in the country, is Sir Walter Nolan. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you the comp because I want you to have it in your mind while you're watching this. I've only seen one player at 6'5", 6'4", 300+ pounds, however much he weighs, be this athletic on tape. There's one guy I can come to my mind, and it's Derek Brown, okay? Former first-round draft pick to Charlotte out of Auburn, or to Carolina out of Auburn, okay? You're going to see why. This dude's a freak athlete at 300 pounds, okay? Here we go. Look at the first step, man. Look at the burst off the line of scrimmage. Freaky stuff. Look at that. Bah-bah. Okay? And look what it does to this tackle. This tackle sees a guy this size out here on him, and watch what he does. Watch his first movement. His first movement, you see it? He ducked his head because he's so daggum terrified of the bull rush. A, he false started. B, second thing he did was, whoa. I got to stop this bull. This dude's way bigger than me. He's way stronger. So what does Walter do? Clubs him, rips him, sacks him. As I drop my phone. Clubs him, rips him, sacks him. Boom, boom, boom. All in 3 movements. Goes and gets the quarterback. Elite. Elite. Here we go with some more lateral quickness from these guys. I think he's out here on the edge. Actually, he's internal. He's got that big white towel behind him, okay? If you can see him, there's his butt right there. Now, you will see him very quickly. There's going to be a whole bunch of dispersion from this offensive line. The center is going to end up about right there, and you're going to see him unlock his arms, disengage from the blocker, turn, get flat, redirect, get down the line of scrimmage, make a TFL. Boom. There you see him resetting, okay? Disengaged, identified where the ball carrier is, and got to the ball carrier. Now, a lot of colleges nowadays, they're 2-gap schemes. What does that mean? It means their defensive lineman's job is to hold the line of scrimmage, if not reset the line of scrimmage, okay? Hold that offensive lineman and maybe even the combo block that's coming with it. And when the ball carrier decides which gap he's going to hit, that defensive lineman is in charge of disengaging, and in other words, get the hands of the offensive lineman off of you and then make the play, okay? Fall back in on the play once it happens. Georgia's best defensive lineman at this right now, in my opinion, is Devontae Wyatt, okay? This kid is already far in advance over him, okay? He might have guessed wrong right here. As you watch him, he's going to stick his head back in left, okay? Sticks his head back in left, ball carrier makes a move. Now he's going back right. Watch him. Immediately redirects, boom, back in on the play. And there's those heavy hands again, right? As soon as I put my hands on you, you're going to cough the ball up because I'm attacking the ball at all times. My next clip just says, stop it. Why do I say stop it? Normally when I say something like that, it's, oh, yeah, that's. Now, it was clear to me that coach just said, hey, Walter, go just blow up the point. We don't care what you do elsewise or otherwise. Just go up, blow up the play. Okay, because they're running read option schemes right here. They're running a lead block here, an outside zone read. He is the read man, right? If we were playing NCAA 14, he'd have an R over there. Okay, the pitch man is him. He'll have a P over him. So they're leaving him unblocked. Coach just said, hey, go take away the give. And what I mean by that is, if that quarterback thinks he can hand that ball off to that running back, he is out of his mind. Go blow up the mesh point, and boom, that's exactly what he does, and does it really, really quickly. That is not supposed to happen that fast for that quarterback. What you're doing with your explosiveness, your first step, your ability to get off the ball, is creating a havoc at that mesh point. That read point for that quarterback is now blown up. He's oftentimes going to make bad decisions. Where are we at? Pursuit from the big fella. I think one thing we've seen tonight is that all these guys at points in their game have effort plays on the tape, right? They have effort plays on the tape, which is vital. Play strength is absurd, guys. When he gets to you, okay, there's 3 or 4 bodies back here, and he knocks them all on their butt. Knocks them all on their butt. Now, What do you notice? I know what I notice. Okay, we always got to check levels of competition, right? We told you, Tift County down there with Tyree West, dudes. They're playing dudes every single week. Christian Miller at Cedar Grove playing dudes every single week. Travis Shaw, some decent competition up there where he's playing. Bear Alexander, Texas, obviously playing dudes. You know who's not playing dudes? This guy. This guy's not playing dudes, okay? They ain't a D1 talent on that offensive line. They probably ain't even a D2 talent on that offensive line. So when I'm watching this, yeah, that's great. You threw everybody off, but really all I can take away from this is your get off. I mean, look at him. That first 2 steps, that first 3 steps from this position right here, they're elite. They are best in the class. 100%. That initial get off at 305 pounds, they're elite. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The ability to redirect, pursue the ball carrier, out of this world. Out of this world. But I can't sit here and say, oh, well, yeah, look, I mean, he's playing some guys out there. There's bodies out there, but there ain't too many dudes. Same thing on the next clip. I put it in all caps, actually. The comp is horrible, which is okay. See what I mean? Like, he's just toying with folks at this point. But I'm cool with it because he plays hard. He's going to put this right guard on his butt before the right guard can even hiccup and get out of his stance. Look at him. Left arm, boom. I mean, just pinballs in there, right? Ain't a whole lot of really, really good football players that he's going against. But when we talk about this, no different than what we did with Brock Vandegrift. When I'm trying to project you, even with the lack of competition that you played against, did you absolutely absurdly dominate your competition? Every single snap, every single down, were you hands down the best football player on the field? If so, okay, it doesn't really affect me that much. As long as there are some athletic traits that we can bet on, right? And with this kid, there's loads of them. There are absolutely loads of athletic traits just like this one, okay? Just a wrecking ball and creating havoc every single play. One of my favorites in the industry, Chris Sims, he talks about effing the play up, okay? Oftentimes as a defensive lineman, I thought Malik Herring was great at this at Georgia. Oftentimes as a defensive lineman, just because you don't make the play, just because you don't get the box stat, whether it be a tackle for loss, a tackle in general, or a sack, if you impacted the play so much that you changed the overall outcome of the play because you dominated your one-on-one, that's effing the play up. This kid does it every single snap. Every single snap, he will wreck plays. He will create havoc, right? Like Coach Smart talks about all the time. Same thing right here. Look, he can't help it. He literally can't help it. He don't even got to put hands on this lead blocker. Watch him. He ain't got to put hands on that boy. That poor sucker, he wasn't even bothering you, bro. But he just can't help it. And he really didn't even, I mean, he's fully extended at this point. It's that heavy-handedness, right? Watch him. Boom. Just falls down on his way to the ball carrier. It's absurd. It's absurd. Let's watch a few more that I don't even have notes on. Man, we did pretty good on time. We got 5 minutes left. Yeah, especially with the delays. Sorry about the delays, man. That's on me. Actually, it's on my producer, but hey, we ain't going to talk about it. I'm just playing. All right, so I gave you the comparison. You saw why. Let's give you the conclusion on him. Insane athlete, right, at 300 pounds. This is a 3-tech in college. I don't want him playing inside. I don't want him doing anything but just absolutely dominating from a like a 3-technique position, okay? That absolutely ruins guards' chances of ever having any success. He actually shows me traits that remind me a lot of Jalen Carter, but more so Derek Brown, where we're talking about really, really freaky elite athletes. I've seen this guy in person at multiple camps. The most impressive 40, whether it be Emory Floyd running the only 4.4 at the Under Armour camp, or whatever it is, whatever athletic specimen that I've seen this fall or this spring or even last summer, every time I see Walter Nolan run a 40, I'm flabbergasted. I'm absolutely like my breath is taken away by watching a big dude like this run like he does. Derek Brown came in at 5.16 at the NFL Combine in the 40. I wouldn't be surprised if this kid's already got 5 flat measurables as a junior in high school. He moves like that at 300 pounds. Supreme athlete. And if you wanted to tell me that Walter Nolan was the best player in the country in 2022, you know, I would give you Travis Hunter. We talk about those guys. I would argue for Mykel Williams, who we didn't get to break down tonight because he is an edge rusher. He's a defensive end in the future. But if you told me it was Walter Nolan, I wouldn't fight you. I really wouldn't. He's that good. He will be a top 10 pick in my opinion. So that's why he came in number 1 on my board. So to recap, we got Walter Nolan 1, Travis Shaw 2, both immediate impact superstars on the college level. Christian Miller, 100% honest with you, it's going to take year 2, maybe like end of year 2, year 3 is going to be a stud in college. That is a developmental bet on my part. And I would have had him probably 4 and Barry Alexander 3, but when Chuck Smith says things like that about a player, a guy like Chuck who's worked with Von Miller, who's worked with Azeez Ojulari, who's worked with Jordan Davis, who's worked with you name it, okay? If there is a pro-ready pass rusher or defensive lineman in the Atlanta area, Chuck's had his hands on him. When Chuck tells me he believes in this kid as much as he does, I got to rank him 3rd. 4th, we came in Barry Alexander. 5, we came in Tyree West. All great football players, all have a committable offer at the University of Georgia, which tells you just how great they are. So, again, man, as we close the show, if you're new to this, and I don't know what our viewership looked like tonight because I'm blind until after the show. I don't know what we looked like. If you're here and you like this, you will love Patreon. And again, we don't have the technical difficulties all the time. That was the first time, long time in that situation. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. The link is in the bio. Yeah, that's it for me. Brooks Austin, the film guy. See you next time.